We continue with our course, and then now we want to learn about this new sub-item that we are given, the planning of performance audit. In fact, my presentation is the performance audit mandate and objectives. We start with that and then later we go to the planning. Mandate coverage. For performance audit, it should cover the state budget and all corresponding programs. When we're talking about performance audit, we're talking about the 4 E's that we have already said that we are supposed to look to in the economy, the efficiency, effectiveness, and the environment. And then here they are telling us that it has to cover the budget and all corresponding programs. Why? That's when we can look into the 4 things, because we are going to see the resources, that's the budget, and also the how it has worked in connection of the correspondences programs. And then the auditor must be free to select audit areas within its mandate. We know that political decisions and the goals established by the regulations or registration are the basic frame references. Why are we saying this? Because we already know that when we are talking about mandate, the areas are already selected by politicians. We have talked about gagas that we talk about public. So here they are basing on the public mandate of auditing when we are talking about performance audit. So performance audit may, as a result of its findings, question the merit of existing policies. Performance audit are in general audit that deals with the current issues. High levels of quality in the work must be promoted and secured. If we're talking of efficiency or we're talking about economy, we cannot talk about issues that are for some time, but we should be talking of issues that are now, current issues. How are they doing it in order for us to decide basing on economy or basing on effectiveness? So this is what the presentation is telling us in connection of performance audit. So the mandate for performance auditors varies from country to country. Some countries have a performance audit role specifically written into their regulations. In other countries, it may not be specific. The head of audit could, for example, have the ability to report to Parliament on performance issues that she may come across in course of their regular work. We have ever heard in Malawi that other people have been called to Parliament to go and answer questions on their performance based on their, let's say, organization or based on their department. Yes, so this is what we're saying. They scrutinize them and look into them that the auditors have audited you and yet you have not done well on this part. Can you tell us why you are doing that? So maybe we can say Malawi is one of the countries that uses performance audit by reporting to Parliament that the parliamentarians should come into our performance. But other countries, we have really heard that they don't base on that. So other may only be able to conduct performance audit at the request of office. Others may not have wider performance audit mandate. This is based on the reflection of their accounts, records, and report of financial audit. That is the performance audit aspect of financial procedures. So we are saying that sometimes we can, us as performance auditors, we can be called to a certain office just to audit that. How are they performing? Either we can be asked to go and audit only on, let's say, efficiency. How are they efficient? Or only on economy. How are they doing their economy? So that can happen in other areas. So the interpretation of the breadth of the performance audit mandate is generally made by the highest. Okay, performance auditors should plan and conduct their audit in line with their interpretation. Simply put, the objective of performance audit first, which is to improve the company or the public. At one level, this is achieved by making sound recommendations based on sufficient evidence obtained in an audit planned and conducted to the professional standard. So we are saying that it has no actual area that we can interpolate, but it bases on the highest ranked people that this is how we're going to do it. So the actual conduct of an audit can also lead an auditee to improve systems and procedures, particularly through audit interactions with management at an operational level. So mind you, auditors are very important to an organization. We interact with the highest ranked people. That whenever we are reporting, we don't report to these low people, but we report to the highest, so that they should know how we are doing. So performance audit process. The performance audit process may provide the mandate for management to consider the activities they manage in a different perspective. They may make changes in respective of the findings and recommendations of the audit. This is very good outcome in terms of improving company or public administration. Again, it is also important that the performance auditor should not preempt or block management's rights to manage. We are supposed to hear from them, not that we should be blocking them. No. Management may develop their own plan to resolve the findings reported by the auditor. That is their right. And this too will improve company or public administration. Even if the auditor's recommendations are not accepted, as long as the findings are based on a solid evidence, it is often the case that the audit recommendations are rejected, but the entity fixes the problems in another way. So we should be very careful as auditors that we should convince the management, and really we should have evidence for our findings, and that when reported, they should improve the company. For example, we have been told that we should go and audit a certain section or a certain department, and then when we go there, instead of us concentrating on what we have been told, let's say for example, auditing on the economy of that particular office, we do other things. That is not recommended. We should follow what our bosses or what the high leveled people have told us to do. We are not supposed sometimes to impose, but we should sit down and think together with them that we should do it this way, or they can tell you how you can do it yourself. So another role for performance auditor, performance audit also have another role. They provide stakeholders such as senior management, members of company or government with information and assurance about the quality of management of public resources. So the emphasis placed on the assurance law of the performance audit. So us as auditors, we are supposed to really be people trusted, and that we are supposed to tell them as stakeholders that this is the good quality that we are producing. So performance audit, strategic planning. We have been given a subtopic about planning, which is the third, if not fourth, subtopic on an overview, performance audit overview. So strategic planning. Strategic planning requires the development and maintenance of information on the organization that will assist in identifying potential areas for audit. Okay, what are we saying? We're saying that the information that the organization is going to give us is again going to give us where we should touch, the potential areas that we should touch based on what we want to audit. So when we are talking about planning, we should always have the document from the where we're going to be doing the audit. Potential topics can then be analyzed and ranked to form annual audit strategy or document for each. So you can align the topics and then rank them, which one is the first, which one is the second, and so on. And then after that, you should form the audit strategy that you are going to do, or write it as a document that this is the way I'm going to do it. So once a topic has been selected for performance audit, an audit program is developed, and this is gradually refined into a detailed audit plan. So what are we saying? We're saying once you are given the document, you read it, and then there you take the potential topics that you are supposed to analyze in your audit, and then after that, that's when you continue reviewing it, so that you should really come to at least a very detailed audit plan. So it sets out an audit procedure that will be applied in the conduct of the audit. A preliminary study may be undertaken to gather information on the topic and to identify significant issues for audit. For example, if you are you have taken the document, you have read and you have selected the topics, you have reviewed and finished that this is how I'm going to do it. My audit is going to be that. Then you are supposed to have another thing to go and have other informations that you think you cannot find, so for your good undertaking of your work. So this is the ways that we should plan in connection of our performance audit. Any questions? Any questions? again?
When you were talking about the performance audit mandate,
Yes.
you stated a point saying performance audit plan is stated that it should provide a mandate for management to consider health. So how does it work there?
You as a professional, the question here is, how can you provide mandate to management? That's his question. This is for also our friends to appreciate. You as an auditor, you know which areas are best to find out for you to give in a report. So when you sit down with management, you can sometimes tell them that these areas are very potential that we cannot leave. Because they are not auditors, they are managers, they are administrators. You are the professional that you should give in how you are going to go about with that audit and how you are going to come up with the best results. So that's why maybe the mandate has said that you can even give mandate to the management that this is very important. I hope it's clear. Thank you. So we are saying, we're continuing to say performance auditors should understand the process adopted by the international audit regulations, which undertakes strategic planning and should be watchful for information they may accumulate during the course of the work that may inform or contribute to the process. Performance auditors should make themselves fully aware of their strategic planning process and their role in that process. So this is very important. Us as professionals, we should know our role in the process. And not only that, our planning should be well planned in the way that the process itself should be stipulated. So the scope for undertaking a performance audit is almost limitless. Even if a business activity is currently performing well, there is generally the potential for some improvements. If performance audit resources were unlimited, then audits would be undertaken on any activity where it was expected that the savings to be made would be best. So what are we saying? We are saying that the main importance of a performance audit is that it is not limited. You can do it in the way you think you can. Why? You also not based on the current performance. Maybe they are performing good. Yes, they are performing well, but you as a performance auditor, you can bring in to say, what if you improve here? And not only that, or what if you make an innovation somewhere there for them at least to go ahead on whatever they are doing. So it means that whenever, even though they are doing well, you still can advise on whatever they can do. Mind you, as auditors, we are the people that the organization based on looking into what they are supposed to change or where they should improve and how they are performing. So strategic planning from performance audit perspective revolves around deciding which of the very large number of performance audit topics will yield the largest long-term gain, even in terms of savings or the improvement achievement of the key objective of the program and activities. So what are we saying? Us as audit, our performance auditors, we should make maybe a very big plan that will benefit the company to have a large gain or a large savings on that. So strategic planning is the basis for the selection of audit topics. It is a useful tool in setting priorities and selecting audit. It serves as a mechanism or selecting future audit themes and a basis of detailed planning. Finally, it may serve as an instrument for strategic policy decision on the future direction of the audit. Mind you, if you do the best planning, you are going to be, let's say, you are going to set a precedence. Everybody that is going to come in, whether you are not there, they are going to be saying, hey, but this one, yes, did very well. Mind you, if you have given in a report is filed and people start from where you left, it means people are going to know that you did a very good work. And that means it's a very good basis that other people that are going to be coming, if you are not there, it means they are going to benefit. And not only that, you are supposed to know that you, as a performance auditor, you are just like a guide that you guide the management in the way that how they will make decisions or future direction of the organization. So that's why we are saying that strategic planning is an instrument that can guide the managers to make a policy decision as well as a future direction for the organization as well as for the audit, because you have done it very well. So planning might be carried out in the following steps. Planning must be carried out in the following steps. Determining the first one, determine the potential audit areas. That's the first one, determining potential audit areas. The first step of planning. The second one is establishing the selected criteria to be used. Establishing the selected criteria to be used. Establishing the selected criteria to be used. Identifying the main sources of information. Identifying the main sources of information for the potential audits. Identifying the main sources of information for the potential audits. So the strategic planning, these are the only four we have. Determining potential audit areas, establishing selected criteria to be used, and 3, identifying the main sources of information for the potential audit. 3. So we are saying the strategic planning exercise would normally result in a coherent and a congent audit program for your audit, and serves as a basis for operational planning and resource allocation. So this is going to be your basis on the operational planning as well as the resource allocation. Mind you, when you are doing audit plan, you also have to allocate resources, the budget for that as an auditor. So in order to To determine which audit are to be undertaken, there is need to rank audit topics. The audit which are identified as having sufficient priority to warrant having resources allocated to them or documented in what is generally called the strategic audit plan. So what we have been talking about is a strategic audit plan that you are supposed to do. So objectives of strategic audit plan, strategics of objectives of strategic audit plan. One, to provide a firm basis for the company management to give strategic direction for future audit coverage. To provide a firm basis for the company management to give strategic direction for future audit coverage. To provide a firm basis for the company management to give strategic direction for future audit coverage. And then two, to identify and select audit with the potential to improve company accountability and administration. To identify and select audits with the potential to improve company accountability and administration. Three, to provide a platform for communication with agencies or organizations and the legislature on audit strategies. To provide a platform for communication with or sections or agencies and the legislature on audit strategies. The other one is to produce a work program. To produce a work program that can be achieved with expected available resources. To produce a work program that can be achieved with the expected available resources. Then the other one is to understand the organization risks and take them into account in audit selection. To understand the organization risks and take them into account in audit selection. And the other one is to provide a basis for accountability. The last one is to provide a basis for accountability. So, I think for today we should stop there, because the remaining 5 minutes I want to give you the course outline and then the book that I have found, but you should find more books in your research, because performance audit is just a subject that has started. Thank you so much. For you ODL, continue doing that. Read, research more on what we have started. Thank you so much.